Hello, y'all. It's old C Schnoz again, posting this to my channel. It's been a while. See, I had a few views on my first story. First story was about, you know, stuff that happened in the neighborhood I grew up in. This one's going to be a little different. It's going to be about from the same time period. This happened like in about 1985, 86. This happened at the elementary school that I grew up at. And again, I'm trying to not just come out and say names. We're just going to go with the first name on this person. His first name was Matt. And Matt had just some of the biggest balls I've ever seen in my life to this day, almost 30 plus years later. This guy is still spoke about in legendary terms when his name comes up again amongst people that I grew up with that grew up in the town I grew up in that were in school at this time, same class. I mean, and he's still on Facebook. He's done pretty well for himself, but this guy's just was he was epic. I mean, and I was a bit of a class clown myself. Got in trouble for my mouth a few times, but this guy would say stuff that I would never dreamed of saying. I mean, he just didn't care. So again, the setting. This was I want to say this is 1986. Probably about like April or May. We're in fifth grade at this point. I'm sorry. No, this would have been 85 because yeah, this would have been 85. So fifth grade. Um, about to go on to sixth. Anyhow, um, we had this old school World War II veteran PE coach. This isn't a guy you wanted to just screw with. He this is back in the '80s in Texas conservative area, and they'll just whip your whip your butt for whatever. Their corporal punishment. They gave out licks, they gave out detention. Whatever. After school, you wasn't a time of liberalism and enlightenment when it came to punishment of children. Anyway, I don't even know what Matt had done to get licks. Which is for those of you who don't know, which licks means paddling. You usually got two or three licks. Paddles about yay big, about this thick. It usually looked like the handle was about this thickness, enough to put your two fists on, and I'm a pretty decent sized fella. Um, anyway, um, and some of these teachers would take a crow hop, and the rest of the paddle's about this big, about the about the width of a two by four, and then just wow, and as someone who got licked several times, I can tell you it wasn't a fun experience, but it's supposed to act as a deterrent. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. Obviously, it wasn't that great on me because I got them more than once. Anyhow, I don't even remember what Matt had done or said. He was just all the when you're a preteen boy, you're always saying goofy crap, and then people make up little languages and weird things amongst themselves, and we just think everything's funny. We're typical little weirdos that we were, and so anyway, he was getting licks, and everybody knew it. So we basically all lined up the rest of the PE class. There's probably, I don't know, 18, 20 kids in the class, and we got our right up by the door. Some people had their actual ears up by. The rest of us were smushed up as close as we could get. So this guy's in there, and you can hear it through the door. All right, spread your, we have little things on the floor where to put your feet, spread out, put your arms on the desk, blah, blah, blah. You can hear the instructions being given. And for those of us that had them before, we knew the drill. So, usually, you go eat your licks, you just shut your mouth, get your licks, and, go about your way. You don't really want to anger the person that's swinging a paddle at your butt at this point. Oh, but not Matt. Matt just, like I said, didn't care. So, anyway, lick number one. Whack! Very loud, through the door. Again, this guy wasn't playing around. So what does this guy go and say after lick number one? And I'm not making this up. And you can find people that know me, grew up with me, that were here, and they will affirm this to the day they die, and we still talk about it. Lick number one, whap, is followed by, who'd that burn? Said those exact words just like that. Whap, who'd that burn? Now, who's got the balls to be getting bent over and getting swatted on the butt with a paddle made out of whatever wood we had lying around in the freaking wood shop, and to say that to just further antagonize the guy who you've already pissed off enough where he decided to give you licks. So we're all looking at each other. What did you? No one can really believe we just heard that. So here comes lick number two. Wow, feeling good. I'm just laughing just saying it now. So, again, getting licks, bent over, getting your butt tan, and both times you get a lick from this old tobacco chewing codger who didn't take crap off anybody, and you're going to sit there and just piss him off even more. So to this day, we still talk about that in, tones of reverence, if you will. And there's another story, and it's a little, again, when you're, this one happened actually in middle school. This was sixth or seventh grade. I don't even remember. And again, we had this, he wasn't a younger guy. He's probably in his 60s now. In fact, I know he's in his 60s because he taught with my middle sister. So I'm 45 right now. He would be probably 61 or 62. But, old ex-football player, coach, again, this is the 80s. Teaching us, I don't know, biology, I believe it was, like seventh grade. This was a particularly rowdy class that we had. It was a lot of the wrong side of the tracks kids, myself included. And again, this fellow named Matt's in the class. And we have a guy in the class who's what we would call a ladies' man at the time. Just one of these little heartthrobs that, the guys in middle school that all the girls think is cute. And his name was Dylan. And, nice enough fella. He and I were actually friends. And, of course, with the, humor that you have in middle school, which is, mostly sexual and, potty humor, if you will. People would call him Dildo. And I don't know what ever transpired for this even to start. And Matt would talk in this high-pitched, goofy voice for just about anything. And it was just one of those things that, even it didn't make any sense, but you just couldn't help but laugh at it. It was hilarious. And I don't know why he took to calling him, and he says it this way, Dilda. And we were just, it was one of those things, I was sitting next to one of my friends who's a pretty smart guy, and he's done well in life. And, we would it's just nonsense. We just cracked up at it. And one day the bell rang, and, a bunch of people were talking and pissed off this coach. And so he's just going around and just telling people, you're going to stay after class, and I forgot what he meant to do, write on the board or write lines or whatever, write lines on the paper, I think it was, because we wouldn't shut up because the bell rang. Like I said, kind of a rowdy class. So the bell's ringing, people are still acting a fool. He's going around pointing at people, you're staying after class, you're staying after class, you're staying after class. He gets over to Matt and just points the finger right at him and says, you're staying after class. And he looks him dead in the face and says, Dilda. Just complete nonsense. But again, who's got the balls to do this kind of crap? Just right in his face, just says it. And then, I don't even know if I was going to stay after class already, but after that, myself and my friend, we were, it was two people to a table at that point. These big old biology desks, and we just both just fell right out. It was one of those things that you shouldn't laugh at it, but you did. And so we ended up staying after class, and it was writing lines on paper. I'm going back 30 plus years to remember some of the other details that, didn't stick out as much as this. But anyway, thanks for watching. I know I've got a few subscribers, and thank you for subscribing. And if I keep getting more activity, there's a treasure trove of all kinds of uh, stories from my childhood and stuff like that, and college and everything else that I just find funny, and I like to tell them. And so far, people have laughed at them in real life. So if, people think they're funny on the internet, as they were, I'll keep posting. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and y'all have a good day.